Alright, this is a guide on how to do Seren as a beast tamer in a party. You might be wondering why I'm recording me watching a YouTube video. It's cause I want to offer commentary on a boss run, but nowadays my party does not even see dawn, so it's not really that helpful to commentate on the runs I do now with my party. So I have only one VOD of a really old Seren run that takes us through the entirety of Seren's mechanics. It's not the best, but that this way I can offer tips on and hopefully showcase multiple things. Okay. So Seren is not the most amazing boss for BT in terms of the BT doing damage. The support is great. The QOL is a little lacking. You really would love to have an up jump in Seren, but it is what it is. Okay, so in P1, I mean, your burst rotation is pretty standard. Yeah, just burst as you would do normally. The only thing I have to say is when you're off burst and just like, standing in the corner or whatever, I'd recommend to use hawk mode. You can see right now I'm trying to heal my teammates in cat mode, but it's kind of unnecessary and I'm taking way too many pillars because I'm trying to do that. So I would advise to just screw the support and just use hawk mode to glide in order to dodge the pillars, because the pillars do have like really short notice, so the instant nature of glide mobility is just really nice to have here. And you can see, as I just did right there, you can use fly to gauge safely in P1, but you can also do that with just up jumping and blink. So it's not too crazy. Oh yeah, keep in mind that you can also double tap dash while you're gauged in fly. So that's interesting, I guess. And then while you can't heal teammates that are gauged, you can put tree on them to give them a little bit of damage reduction. Maybe that'll do something if you care enough about your teammates. But your party really shouldn't be dying in P1, or else it's a kind of a sus clear, maybe. Alright, so I mean, let's just cut straight to P2. Alright, so this is one of the L situations that we have to deal with as beast tamers without up jump in other modes. When the full map bombs happen, you can't jump and blink hover upwards to dodge it. The hitbox is too big. The only way to dodge it is to either iframe or up jump in hawk mode. So you will have to use hawk mode in noon phase if you want to not hate yourself. Because Seren jabs every 2 seconds, bear mode is just not going to get much damage done, and you don't have an up jump to deal with bombs, so it's not that good of an option. But you can fly somewhere up here. Can you? Yeah, you can see my cursor. Yeah, you can fly somewhere up here and tornado and do some free damage that way. In this run, I'm I'm pure support, so I'm not even thinking about doing damage. But just know that you can fly up and read damage like that. If you want to help out your team, you can place tree in the corner whenever you have it. And you can also dispel their blindness if they really need help to DPS the boss, but they're blind and they're missing all their attacks because they got hit by um, bombs or rays or whatever gives you blindness in this phase. Then you can dispel it. And what's more is that you can dispel while ducking. So that's kind of nice. But don't stay in cat mode for too long in noon phase because, again, you could always be caught off guard by bombs. So always go back to hawk in noon phase. At least this is still while we have our wind up in bear and no up jump in any other animal mode that's not hawk. If these things change, then this strategy will change. That's really what I wanted to say about noon phase, to be honest. Maybe we can watch a little bit of the off burst. I'm not really doing anything that much. Oh yeah, you can also attack her on the ground in hawk mode. Even though hawk damage is pretty shit off burst, the response and the delay is very fluid, so you can react to jabs at least in hawk mode, whereas if you will be doing even less damage, just like doing paw swipes in bear mode when you react. Okay, let's one more thing. You can't dispel gauge from this, but when Seren uses laser, the little diamond attack that shoots a huge laser, you can dispel that for your teammates. So that is something to keep in mind. Let's cut to sunset phase. I don't really need to explain test for Seren. You have so many iframes, they all function normally as they would. So yeah, just get to the safe spot and use your iframe. Okay, so I said that in noon phase you want to be in hawk mode all the time, but in sunset phase try to be in cat mode all the time. The reason is healing is reduced by 80% for everybody in the party, so your spammable heal becomes extraordinarily useful in this phase. Plus you can dispel the sunburn debuff that players get when they get hit by the Seren's jab. That debuff prevents heals, so that's really useful to get rid of. And also, you can if you get hit by one of these cheese balls, you get sealed. But if you can use dispel when you're sealed, and you can also dispel other people that are sealed, so that's another use case of dispel in this phase. And your last major important utility that you bring to the table in this phase is your tree. So these full map these pillars can be quite unrelenting, and especially during bursts when people can't afford to move or else they'll get owned out of their roar. You can put tree down to make everyone a lot tankier, and maybe possibly save them from full map pillars because tree hitbox applies immediately despite the animation. So yeah, tree offers a lot of utility in this phase. You can use it reactionary, off burst, but Just try to save it when your burst is about to come up so that you can protect everybody nearby. That's all you have to do for Sunset. You could try to do some damage here, but I wouldn't really recommend it. I feel like the healing that you can output is so much more useful than any damage you might do. Okay. Midnight is just midnight. It's like a free. It's meant to be a free phase. So let's just skip over it and let's cover Dawn. So I mean, Hawk alone gives you enough mobility to play around with, to dodge the deer. I don't think BT is that good of a bomb clearer. If you double flash jump and then fast glide across the whole map, that's not fast enough to get away from the bombs. So like as you're triggering all the bombs, you might get hit by them. Though that's not really that great. So I wouldn't recommend being the bomb clearer. What you can do is like you can fly and then you can like do a little swoop in and then like up and down to detonate them as well, but you won't always have fly up. So this is an old VOD, so I'm not really doing what I do now. What I would recommend as a beast tamer in this boss during Dawn phase is to always stay in the middle. Most people will need to be in the corner, but you, with your absolutely Chad aerial mobility, can afford to stay in the middle. So if you fly, you can just like fly in the middle, and you'll be safe from everything except for crab and pillars, but you can obviously easily dodge them. But the important thing is when you fly in the middle, there's a chance that the deer will be aggroing on you, and when they do, you'll be in the middle, so they'll be running away from the people in the corner. So it helps your team survive and not get pounded by deers in the corner. But even if you don't have fly active, you can just up jump and glide to air stall when bombs are about to happen. So you can basically afford to just stay in the middle the whole time. It's pretty nice. Yeah, I don't do that in this VOD, unfortunately, because this is a really old VOD. It's I didn't have as much Seren experience as I do now, so I can't really show you what to do. I'm not really doing it in this video, and I'm also not doing it now because my party one cycles the whole boss. So I mean, honestly, a lot of parties nowadays, they have enough sack to do that, so that's pretty typical. 3-cycle or 2-cycle runs are not as common as they used to be, and I don't think anyone would want to do that willingly. But yeah, that basically takes you through what you can do in every single boss, every single phase of Seren. So that's been Seren.